So let's talk about now, when your extracts are done, what do you do next? It's time to actually use your extracts, you think. So we have one of our extracts. This has been down in our basement, in our storage area, for 18 months. We made this extract in, well, is it 18 months? It was August of 2019. Or 2020, excuse me. No, 2019.
No, 2019, yeah.
So August of 2019, and it's ready to go. It's a bourbon extract, so that's why we let it go longer than 1 year. Typically, bourbon's a stronger alcohol. It takes just a little bit longer for the vanilla to overpower the bourbon. So we let bourbon wait just a little bit longer before we start using it. So this one is about 1.5 years old. Now, we've used bourbons after a year that are also good, but we like to wait a little longer because we've done it so many times, we're just kind of figuring out what we like, right?
Yeah.
So it's time where you think that the extract is done, so it's time to go through how do you taste test it, and how do you know that your vanilla extract is ready? And that's tricky sometimes, especially if it's your first time. So there's a few ways that we do this, right?
Oh, 1 second.
Oh,
Somebody wants to know, do we shake them while they're aging? We actually don't.
We don't.
And I'm not sure about Starlet's because she has a lot more things in here. We may have to shake this one. But the regular ones, we actually don't. It's too much to remember, to tell you the truth.
We have so many extracts that we have going on.
But lots of people do shake them.
Lots do, and there is some belief that if you go in and shake it every couple of weeks, maybe it'll be ready faster. I think maybe it will. Maybe it helps kind of expedite the release of the vanillin. It's a chemical activity that's happening, so whether shaking really makes that much of a difference, I don't know. Agitating, there's logic that says maybe it would. We never do. Our experience is we kind of set it and forget it. And so this has been in our basement. It has dust on the cap. We haven't touched this in 18 months. It's just been sitting kind of on that back shelf, totally left alone. Today's the first time it is seeing our kitchen since August of 2019. So it should be ready. We think it's ready. We want to now convert it into an extract that is not sitting in our basement, but one that we get to use every single day. So, go ahead.
Starlet she did say,
Starlet
I saw
shakes.
the note, she does shake it. So there's a lot more in here, so we'll have to remember to do that. Thank you, Starlet, for letting us know.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to do taste testing, okay? We are going to recommend the Shannon Adams method because Shannon Adams is awesome, and she has made a ton of extract, and she introduced this to us. We had never heard of it before, so we're excited to show you the Shannon Adams method. We're going to show you first, though, the Paul and Jill method. This is how scientific we are. We simply do this.
Well, first you look. How does it look?
Yes, first visual, look at it. It looks good. It just looks good. It's dark, rich, amber. It's not the artificial stuff that you buy at the grocery store where it's like black. You don't get a lot of black. This is light color, amber. You can see through it, but it's really, really dark, which we like. So first you look. Then,
You smell.
and I'm going to create a real debate as soon as I do this, because I'm going to pull this open, and I'm using a cork. And I know there's a lot of cork debate, and we're going to come back to corks and why I use a cork on this particular bottle in just a minute. But I pull the cork out, smell the cork. What do I smell first? I smell vanilla. Vanilla's the dominant scent, and then right behind the vanilla, you can smell the smokiness of the bourbon. That's why we use bourbon. We wanted a vanilla that had a smoky scent, right? So the vanilla first, and then the bourbon. So it smells wonderful, okay? Now, this is the Fulton method, Paul and Jill method of taste testing. Little finger, kind of dip the bottle a little bit, put some on my finger. It's wonderful. Like, we've tasted enough of them where I can get that vanilla. You taste that first, again, and the bourbon is just like an afterthought. It's hardly there other than just a little bit of smokiness. And for us, with as many as we've done, that is a wonderful Madagascar bourbon. We use Woodford Reserve. That is a wonderful extract. So we are excited to put this one into use.
Yep.
So now you've decided you've got this extract, you just pulled it out of storage, it's ready to use. Now what? Right? Like, hey, I made these, I didn't think I was going to use them. Now it's time to use them. And so how do we use them? Let's talk about that. So the concern number one, as soon as you start using them, the alcohol level starts coming down, right? And as soon as the alcohol level comes down, what do you get? Exposed beans. And so that gets everyone really concerned. We've seen lots of posts online where people have exposed beans and they say that they mold. Now, in fact, we got to show them. Let's show them the
Sure.
Indonesian extract that we use. So we have never, in all of our years of doing extract, this is one that we're using.
That's the one I keep on my counter that goes into just about everything on a daily basis, and it doesn't last very long.
It's about a month and a half, maybe
but
2 months we get out of it.
There's only about 2 inches of it left.
Yep, and so this is our Indonesian rum, so it's extra sweet. We left the beans in there so it just keeps extracting. We've never had a mold problem. Now, we live in Utah. It's really dry in Utah.
It's so dry here.
Maybe that's why, but we've always just kind of let it stay in there and then, refill it for use or put it in our mother jar when we're done. But we've never had that problem. We have seen online where people have.
Yes.
So you certainly don't want your beans to get ruined. And so we're always erring on the side of caution just to make sure you get all the use out of your beans that you want. So we want to use this. We want to get rid of the vanilla beans before we start using it. So we take, again, our strainer. We've got our measuring cup. Exact same thing as we did with the Starlet. I'm just going to pour all that extract out. Now let me talk about this bottle here for just a minute, and I'll tell you why. We like this bottle. I like this bottle. It has an open neck, very similar to a wine bottle, and so it's easy to get the beans in, and it's relatively easy to get the beans out. Now that I said that, I bet these beans are never coming out, right? But you kind of shake it like an old ketchup bottle, and the beans just kind of start falling out, and they're done. So it's that easy. These beans were split, so my beans are now out. I have my bottle left. Now, if you look inside the bottle, you'll see, and I always try to hold up to the light, you'll see all of that beautiful caviar. Some people don't like the caviar in their extract. Most people, I think, really like it.
I love it.
We love it.
Yeah.
And since I split the bean and I didn't leave them whole, you can see all of that caviar that's left in there. So those that like to harvest the caviar for vanilla ice cream, custards, things like that, then they're like, aha, that's why you shouldn't split your beans, because you're just wasting all that caviar inside your extract. But for those of us that like to see the little speckles show up sometimes in our frostings, we love having the caviar left in the bottle. So it's 100% up to you what you want to do. So we've removed the beans. We're going to see if there's any questions.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And I will,
Now it's time to just pour the extract back in the bottle.
okay.
I'll let you do that. That's a cute little funnel that we use. It does a pretty good job, I think, with the bigger measuring glass. Well, you'll see. So using a funnel, we simply pour the extract back in the bottle. It'll be a little lower now because the alcohol will have been displaced by the beans. And we'll just fill it back up.
Where did you get that bottle?
Where did we get this? So we really try to not make this, all of the bottles, everything that you see here, you can purchase at vanillapura.com. There's lots of good places that people post on, bottles and things like that. I mean, lots of shopping places will have them. There's lots of kitchen retailers that have them.
The ones you're posting online. They're so unique.
You
And
guys, totally.
That's half the fun, is finding a cute bottle, right? Like, you can keep posting them and where you're finding them, because, it's fun to have your own unique bottle.
You could never have every single bottle that's made in the world. And bottles really is where your personality shines through. So shop around, find good ones. For us, function before form. It's a square bottle with a big open neck. We like it, and it fits well within our kitchen because we like to leave our extract out. We put it right next to the olive oil and the salt and pepper, because if it's here, we use it a lot more. The final thing, this is the other reason I like this bottle, is this right here. It's a pouring spout. And it's mostly used for olive oil. Well, if you have the right extraction bottle with an open lid, you can just push that in, and it comes with a little cap to close it off, and now I'm ready for use. And it's that simple. And then I take my cork, and we'll talk about corks in a minute, and we'll discard it, and I'll tell you why. But now it's ready for use. That's it. So now my bottle just transferred from being in my basement extracting for 18 months to now being in the kitchen next to the olive oil, to replace that bottle that we just showed you that is almost gone. It'll probably be gone by the end of the week. It's almost sad to say goodbye.
I love these spouts. I love these spouts so much.
We use the spouts for everything.
On everything.
So one of the
It
challenges...
just makes it easy to pour.
Totally.
So I really like the spout.
One of the challenges with the big open bottles is when you're actually trying to pour it onto a teaspoon, you can't. And so that's a problem. So now that I have the spout in, we are going to do the Shannon Adams taste testing method. So Shannon says with her extracts, she'll usually make like 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 different extracts. And when she does, she likes doing tastings like with her friends. So you have friends come over and she'll line up the shot glasses and you put like a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3, and one of them might be a vodka, one of them might be a bourbon extract, or one of them might be Madagascar versus a Tahitian, so you can kind of get a sense of what the difference is. One of them might be a year-old versus an 18-month-old or versus a 9-month-old. All these different things that you can taste with your extract. So this is what you do. It's very simple. You take your shot glasses, okay, and you put in just a couple of drops at the bottom of each shot glass. Now with the pour, it's really easy to do. Whoop, a couple of drops and a couple of drops.
Somebody wants to know how big this bottle is.
This is an 8-ounce bottle, a little bigger, 250 milliliters. So, and that's the other reason I like it. It's 8 ounces. This bottle size, 1 ounce of vanilla beans. So just really easy to use. Just pop it in, 1 ounce. Sits on the counter kind of nicely. It's not big and obnoxious. It's just kind of easy to use. So it's a great one to store. We have used these in the past. When we were first getting started, we would actually use these as kind of like a mini mother jar. And we would fill like our Christmas gifts that we gave out, even from these sometimes, because it was a nice just starting size. But then when we really got into it, we started using extract for like everything.
Then we got into it.
And then we're like, don't touch our jar, because that's mine. And just wait for Christmas, I'll give you yours, but back off. So, because we can go through this one now pretty quickly. Okay, so now we've poured in the extract, so what do we do?
1 to 3 tablespoons of milk. It's up to you how much you want.
So 1 to 3, so if, it just depends where you're at in your journey of extract tasting. If you're really new, you maybe want to water it down or milk it down a little more with more milk. If you're kind of used to it and kind of a seasoned extract maker, 1 tablespoon's probably enough. We're going to put what, 1 in each?
I'm going to put a little more.
A little more, like 1.5, 2?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. So now we've got a couple drops. We've got the milk. We're going to shake it around a little bit, just swirl it. We're not going to drink it yet. One of the big things here is that you've got to wait about 3 to 5 minutes to really let that extract sink into the milk. If you go too fast, it'll still be kind of separated and you'll get maybe a high concentration of extract and maybe just all milk. And so just let it sit, and we're going to wait 3 minutes. And while we're waiting, we wanted to talk to you. We're going to go back and talk to you about corks. So this bottle comes with a cork. I like corks. And I know, I've read all the posts and I've seen the pictures. Corks can deteriorate. I get it. I know that they can. The reason they put wine on the side is for cork health. You keep that cork healthy. And wine corks, when you have wine on the side, are there and they might sit for years, decades. And so even more so, it's important to keep them on their side to keep that cork healthy, okay? But for extract making, it's typically going to sit, I think our oldest extract was 3 years old. We had that Indonesian, it was a rum or a bourbon, and we had it for like 3 years. That's the oldest that we've ever had. When we pulled the cork off, it smelled wonderful. It was a healthy cork. It looked wonderful. We are pro cork. Now, it doesn't mean that everything that we use is cork. We don't have cork on these. We have plastic. We've got, so you don't have to use cork, but our experience is I've never seen a deteriorated cork in vanilla extract. So for those of you that have a bottle and you're worried because it is a cork, if it's a new cork, you're going to be just fine. And when we look at spirits like this Woodford Reserve, that is one of our favorite bourbons to use with the extract. This is I don't know how old the spirit is, but obviously the bottle's been around. It's a cork top. And it sits on its end. It doesn't sit sideways like wine does. And so, in our experience, corks, when I pull them out, it gives me something to smell. So I like having the smell. And I know it's silly. And I think that they're decorative, and I think they look nice. So if you have a cork, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think you have to scramble to replace it if it's a new cork. Now, this cork now is 1.5 years old. I won't reuse it, because then I would worry that I've now opened it, maybe it's oxidized, and I'm putting it back in. I think the likelihood of deterioration is greater. But if it's a brand new cork, cork it. I like the cork. I like having the cork to just smell the extract, because it's a good hint that it's ready. So I'm a fan of corks, but this cork has served us well. Thank you, cork. Into the garbage. We will not use the cork anymore.
I think we can taste
Are we ready?
it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go. We are going to taste test our Madagascar bourbon
Cheers.
in milk. Cheers. Cheers to all of you. Let's see.
Did you just take it like a shot?
Maybe I did.
You're supposed to sip it.
That tastes absolutely wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
It's a sweet milk, and the vanilla just shines through. And then it's like, again, on the back of your palate, you get a little bit of that smokiness where you can sense like that bourbon coming out. And so that extract has done exactly what we wanted it to do. That is a wonderful extract. We're excited to put it to use. We'll start using it this week.
Well, and you can really get the flavor in this method in comparison to ours, just, licking our finger. You can really get the flavor with the milk.
You can.
You should try it. It
So-
really makes a difference.
Yeah, because it's simple. Vanilla extract is really highly concentrated. And so if you drink if you drink a snow cone syrup directly, right, it's going to taste really bitter because it's concentrated and you have to let it water out. So you need a medium to kind of let the extract do what it does. And we always tell everyone, this is actually an interesting point. We see people sometimes say, does it really make a difference? Since an entire recipe of like cookies calls for 1 teaspoon of extract. Does it really make a difference? So here's what we tell those someones when they do say it. We dare you to make your next batch of cookies without that 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you tell us. And in every single case, it makes a difference. That's the reason that it calls for it. Then when you get familiar with all the different kinds of extracts, you can start enhancing them. So if it makes a difference to not have extract, it makes an equal difference to have great extracts or different flavored extracts with different spirits. And so when you put them in and you taste them, you'll see. And then what we've started doing, anytime something calls for 1 teaspoon, we're putting in 2, right?
No,
We're
we
putting
always
in
do.
3. And because we can keep it here and it's easy to pour and easy to access, it goes in the French toast. It goes in just about everything that we're making. Extract really makes a difference. Try the challenge. Don't use any extract the next time you make cookies, and you'll see for yourself. It's amazing.
Somebody wants to know where you get the spouts.
Oh, where do we get the spouts?
Yep,
You can find them online. Of course, they're on Vanilla Pure, but you can also find them online. You can lots of places, cooking shops. It's this little it's stainless steel, dishwasher safe. That's all important to us. We do reuse the spouts, so when one bottle's done, I'll just throw in the dishwasher, use it for another one, so they last for a really long time.